back for another chicken side chat. I'm going to talk about healthcare. Healthcare in the West is an absolute disaster. It's too expensive. The hospitals are struggling to make money. Insurance companies are denying claims, denying services. They think they're smarter than the doctors. It's a total freaking disaster. And a lot of people are doing medical tourism for dental work. They're going to Mexico for dental work. They're coming to Thailand for dental work or other services, plastic surgery. They're going to all these different countries for all this stuff to get a break from the absolute mess we have created for ourselves in America. And the military retirees, which I'm not one of, they're the only ones that have it made in this whole fiasco, and they still have to deal with problems, but they're the only ones. They've got unlimited health care for life if they've retired from active duty. And that's like the golden ticket. You can do whatever you want as long as you got that blanket of support, that help. Everybody else, you better not lose your job. You better have a job. You better be old enough for Medicare. Otherwise, America's got no use for you. If you're not a productive member of society, you're awarded with no health care. Or the Affordable Health Care Act, which, depending on your situation, is far from affordable. So I got a little story for you. I finished making a lot of money in Kuwait. Finished that contract, came back to the States and wanted to take a year off. And no problem, I could do that. And I could get COBRA for 6 months to get health care if I wanted to do that. And it wasn't unreasonably expensive. The problem was I had a global plan, but it didn't cover the U.S. It was anywhere but the U.S. So that is going to do me no good in the U.S. So the reason I had a global plan except the U.S. was it was incredibly affordable, and there's no co-pays, no deductibles, no nothing. You got a problem, you go to the doctor, they pay 100%, no questions asked. Anywhere in the world except America. You can go to America and you get a special plan, and then you got co-pays, deductibles, maximums, minimums, all this other absolute bullshit. It's way too fucking... It's set up to be too fucking complicated to where nobody wants to use this shit. They're afraid to use it. It's absolute bullshit. We can't just go to the fucking doctor with a problem. It's too much trouble. So a lot of us don't go to the doctor. Even if you got healthcare, you don't want to go to the doctor. You don't want to face all the bullshit. So let me show you the flip side of that. The flip side is they have insurance here in the Philippines. And if I'm using the Philippines as an example just because I've got experience with it. I don't know much about nothing in other countries where I have not used healthcare. I got a colonoscopy in Turkey, and that cost me $4,000, which Turkey's supposed to be good for medical tourism, but that wasn't no deal. I don't know how much it would be in the U.S. I have no idea. Probably at least $10,000 for a colonoscopy if you paid for it with cash. I don't even have a guess, a valid guess. But maybe it's $4,000. I don't know. But anyways, I didn't think that was necessarily cheap, but I paid cash and it was done, and I got great service, and they took good care of me, and it was fine. So that was okay. I went to a nice hospital. I looked at Google reviews, went to a nice hospital in Turkey and did that while my girlfriend and now wife was getting her teeth done. I figured I was just laying around doing nothing. I may as well go take care of that because my number was up. I turned 50, and so I had to get that done, and I probably should have done it way sooner because they found polyps, and I actually had health benefits from getting those polyps removed. I went from having irritable bowel syndrome for years to being perfectly fine. Now I don't have that problem anymore. Zero. So I wish I would have done it sooner. But well, if I would have done it sooner in the U.S., I would have had to pay out of pocket. I'm sure no insurance is going to cover it till you hit 50 because that's just the rules, the bullshit rules. Anyways, back to the topic here. In the Philippines, it's really easy to use cash. You can get a health plan, but from my limited exposure to that, I could get a health plan and it would cost me 50,000 pesos, and then they would cover up to 50,000 pesos per year. So what am I doing? I'm paying for something that only pays for what I paid. So I don't. It's pointless. So to not have to deal with that bullshit, I just go in there and I just pay cash. So for an example, you go to a local doctor that's running an office. You walk in there. You tell him you're not feeling good. He determines whether you have a virus or a bacteria. He might order a blood test, or what they call a CBC here, which is super efficient. They don't do it in the U.S. For when you go to the doctor, they just guess. But here they'll do a CBC on you, and they'll look at the bacteria level in your blood, and they'll be like, all right, you got an infection, so here you go, here's some antibiotics. Or they'll say, all right, we don't see what we're expecting to see. You got a virus, you just got to wait it out. We'll treat the symptoms. But anyways, you go to the doctor here, you pay 300 pesos. He gets you in, gets you out. Typically, you're in and out within 5 minutes. And I'm not bullcrapping you. I'm out in the province a little bit, but you're in and out within 5 minutes. I've waited at his office, been there, I don't know, 3 or 4 times. I've waited maximum 10 minutes to see him. And dude, you're in and out. Dude's legit. He's smart, nice, honest, tells you how it is. It's good. And then I've been to the hospital here quite a few times. Angeles, Clark area has one called Clark Medical City, and they do a lot of everything there. I've been there many times. I've done a health eval there. It now costs, I think, 19,000 pesos for a top-to-bottom health eval. They'll do blood tests, stool sample, pee test, stress test where you run on the treadmill, ultrasound of your abdomen, liver, all that kind of stuff, and the whole shooting match, the whole shebang. It's pretty impressive, and then they give you things to work on, an evaluation of the results, and it's excellent. So I've done that there. I've gotten a CT scan for my abdomen because they found, and during the ultrasound, they found a spot on my liver that they didn't like. So they sent me for a CT scan. I went and did a CT scan. I paid cash for that. That was $150. And then the CT scan found other issues that I have, like degenerating discs and some other in my back and a couple other things, but nothing alarming. But they didn't even see the spot. It's like a 1 centimeter spot on my liver. So what I'm saying is I've used the healthcare in the Philippines quite a bit, and I've been extremely satisfied with the wait times, the cost, the customer service, the facility. Now I'm going to that Clark Medical City, and I can't speak for everybody. I can't speak for every situation, but I've had a pretty good experience. Would I want to go there and have surgery? No, I don't want to go. I don't want to go anywhere and have surgery. No. But I did get a colonoscopy follow-up at Clark Medical City, and it was fine. It was good. They did an endoscopy too, which I've never had. But since I was knocked out, they went through the throat and then through the butt, and did both. And they recommended from the polyps that I had done prior in Turkey, they wanted to do a follow-up. So I did the follow-up here, and it cost me $1,500. So I went from $4,000 in Turkey to $1,500 here. They actually did more stuff with the endoscopy, and it was significantly cheaper. And it's the same. I mean, they still knock you out with some Propofol. You wake up and you're feeling like $1 million. And there's no pain with that. Just by the way, if you're nervous about that, there's no pain. Even when they got the polyps out. There's no pain in your colon. So, anyways, in my opinion, the healthcare here is passable as long as you don't have anything serious. The good thing about here, though, is let's say you do have something serious and it's not an immediate thing, and you need to go get it. You can. The world is your oyster. You can go to Germany. You can go to Thailand. You can go to anywhere and get that worked on. You're not just going to your HMO preferred providers for whatever bullshit you got. You can go anywhere. So, like, if that spot on my liver turns into something, number one, maybe I go get a job so I can get some health insurance. Or number two, I go to some country that specializes in it, and I pay whatever they charge me, and do that. But I got options. I'm not just holding on to some HMO and doing what they say and what they do. So basically, what I'm saying is I'm self-insuring, and because I'm not in the U.S., just about any country, you're going to be better off as far as cost goes. Whether you get an insurance plan or you self-pay, you self-insure and you self-pay, you're not dealing with all the bullshit that you got in America. It's horrendous what we've done to ourselves. And based on my past insurance policy that was affordable and covered everywhere but America, America is the problem. I don't know why. I don't know how. But those damn insurance companies have just wrecked shop in there. And you go somewhere where those insurance companies have no pull, or they're paying normal rates, it's fine. I used that health plan in Kuwait. I went to the dermatologist a couple times. There's no issue. You walk in, you walk out, you pay nothing, and you get great care. Actually, happened to be the university instructor, teacher was my dermatologist while I was there, and he was freaking great. He didn't speak shit for English, but he was great. No issue. And you know what? When you go to the dermatologist and you don't deal with insurance companies, you know what they don't do? They don't cut you. If they got a spot that they don't like, they freeze it. There's no cutting. There's no send it to a lab for analysis. Everybody, those dermatologists know that most of the time it's a freckle that they don't like, and you just get rid of it. You don't need to send it to a lab. I've been cut so many times by dermatologists to send it to a lab to find out, oh, that's pre-cancer and it's fine. You don't need to worry about it. Well, that's what they all are. They know that. They know it, but they got to send it off because they got to get paid. And it's like an assembly line. But you go in another country, they don't send it off. They don't need to. They already know what it is. They freeze it and you're out of there. And that's happened to me both in Kuwait and Qatar. They freeze it. I got 6 spots frozen in Qatar. It cost me nothing because of my health plan, but it would have cost almost nothing even if I didn't have a health plan, because they're not cutting you. They're not sending it off to a lab. They don't need to. They know what it is. So those are my experiences, and that's my situation here. If I have a heart attack, I'm dead. It's just, there's an emergency room. Everybody knows how to get there, but do I really think that they're going to do the same level of care as you would get in the U.S.? No. But you know what? Do you really want to be on a ventilator or do all this other crazy shit that they do to keep you alive for no damn reason? No. So these are the choices that you're faced with if you choose a life like this. This is the situation with healthcare specifically. There's a lot of things like that. It's the wild, wild west out here. So you can't expect the same levels of my mom had brain surgery and she had it in Atlanta, and they straightened her out. So she was facing cognitive decline that on a higher level than she's facing now. So, but she couldn't get that here. There's no way, and it would be, even if she could, it wouldn't be unaffordable. But she had Medicare, so they paid for everything. So there's your tax dollars at work. So I'm just saying, every situation is different. If you're relatively healthy, going overseas can work. If you've got chronic problems, you might need to think twice about it. Look, I see a lot of dudes in the hospital here in the Philippines, and they've got wheelchairs and walking machines and all this other stuff. And maybe they were perfectly healthy when they got here, and the years have been rough on them. But this is not the place where you want to be handicapped. The sidewalks suck, the stairs suck, the escalators, half of them don't work. Elevators are busted. You know, you got to be able to handle yourself here, and it's not the place for somebody that's got chronic issues and has a limited mobility. It just isn't. So think about that. Like, is this a permanent life, or is this a camping trip? Is this somewhere where you're going to set up shop and you're going to do 30 years here, and it's whatever happens, happens, and you're going to ride it out? Or are you going to go back to the U.S. eventually to get that sweet Medicare and all the comforts that come with it? You got to think about that kind of stuff. You know, have a plan. At least have some thought put into it, so you can figure out what your move is going to be. It's just not a place for major medical issues. It's not where you want to be. They'll do their best, but you're looking at a kind of a miserable existence. So if you're here, think about your future. Think about if you're getting set up with a Filipina. Think about and you get married, and you're never going to leave the U.S. If that's your plan, that's great. Until the plans need to change, for whatever reason, you don't know what it is. So work on getting her some type of way to come with you if you're going to the U.S. Work on getting her some type of visas, getting some kind of direction in case you need to go that way. You never know. So why not? You got nothing better to do. Go make a plan. Get her some kind of visas. Think about those kind of things. Get her a vacation in the U.S. Get her a vacation in Europe. Plus, once she has that U.S. visa, then she gets other visas a lot easier. A lot of them piggyback onto that. So like the Schengen and the others, the Europes and stuff. If she's got a U.S. visa, then she can get into other places a lot easier also. They all piggyback on that U.S. So just keep those things in mind. You know, anything can change day to day. You know, I'm here now, but maybe I'm just camping. Maybe this is temporary, and I need to blast out of here. Fine, okay. Well, if I got $1 million home up in D Heights in Clark, then I'm not going to want to leave that. But if I got a shitty little farm spot where I've got some investment but minimal, and I got 20 chickens that I like to stare at, fuck it, I'm out. I'll keep my kuya here, my caretaker, to keep things right. While I'm gone, I'll pay him $10 a day or whatever the going rate is, and I'm out. I'll come back if things get better. But, you know, just think of it as you're camping here. I got that from Overstay Road. I like the way he talks. So he lives in the Philippines with his Filipina and his 2 kids, and he's just camping in the Philippines. His true love is Thailand, and but the visa situation here is way more affordable, and it works for him. So I like to think about it like that. Like, maybe this thing's only temporary, and I'm out. First sign of trouble, I'm on the first thing smoking out of here, because I can. And along those lines, if I want to keep my life the way it is, then I got to make sure that my family can come with me. So that's the thing. The healthcare is what it is. It's likely not going to bankrupt you like it is in the U.S., but you're not going to get the same level of care for if you need anything complicated. But most of us don't need that. We don't need the complicated stuff until we're over the hill. And then that's what Medicare is for. So stay healthy, stay vibrant, do your best to keep active and at it and kicking ass, and don't be drinking every goddamn day, don't be smoking every goddamn day. You know, do your part to make this work, and it'll work a long time. If you do don't do your part to make it work, then you're gonna have problems, and it's gonna be more expensive and more pain and more misery. Hey, I'm all about some booze, man. I love me some booze, but I got a spot on my liver. I might need to slow it down. Okay, no fucking problem. I'll slow it down. Then what? Cool. I'm going to the gym. Okay. It sucks. I'm not as dedicated as I should be, but I'm fucking going. There you go. That's my 20-minute chicken side chat. And nothing perfect. And nothing gonna be perfect, especially here. So do your best to set yourself up for success instead of failure. Don't come here if you're tore up. Just don't. Don't come here if you've got vices. If you can't control yourself. Yeah, fuck, everybody likes to party, but don't come here if you can't control yourself. It's not the place for you. Stay in your own country. Don't come here if you can't deal with respecting other people and respecting the law. For the most part, it's Wild Wild West. You drive how you want around here. But if you can't deal with people, you can't respect the law, this ain't for you. You don't want nobody knocking on your door. You don't want to deal with the cops. If you're dealing with the cops here, you got big freaking problems because there's no cops here. All right? You can never forget that you're a guest in whatever country you're in. And if you act like an asshole, you're going to get vitalied. They're going to fucking throw your ass away, throw your ass in the hooskow, and they're going to throw away the key because they don't give a shit about you. So, if you're that kind of person, if you're a hothead, if you're a dirtbag, if you're a shitbag, stay in your own country. Be a shitbag there. Don't be a shitbag here. Nobody wants that. And if you got major health problems, think hard about what you're doing. All right, there you go. Little lecture is over for today. Chicken's looking good. I'll see you around. Like, share, subscribe, comment. See you.